good evening. Islam to those who are now joining. Islam to you, my okay. Yes, back to you again. Islam to those who are now joining. I want to welcome all those to you who are joining. And Matthews-Bey, and this is the Dr. Matthews-Bey Unfiltered recording on the South American continent near the There is a few things that I want to discuss today, this evening, as a matter of fact. And I want to make sure that I specifically expound upon it. But since today is the 20th of March, it's a wonderful Monday. There's a few events that are being taking place all around the world, especially the Julius Malema shutdown march in South Africa, which is being very successful thus far. I must applaud his power and generosity to acquire such strength. So these things can be done. But once again, I must say thank you to those who are now joining. And I must say also welcome. Share the live as you get in. I'm trying to find how I should start. Must excuse me. The de facto administrations around the world are trying to prevent the woke theory that is happening in all these countries, especially the corporations of Guyana. And they are pushing a stigma, that is to say that it is only the privileged has the generosity and the requirement by law to benefit from the corporations and that they own. But I want to continue to show my vigoration in liberating my people out of this indoctrination that we are living in. There are too many words that one can say and try to say. There are too many words, believe you me. And one cannot constantly put up with this constant barrage of oppression and this racism and this indoctrination. It's too overbearing now, because the truth is out of the bag. There was once a theory that was saying, what if you wake up and realize that the entire life was a complete lie because you've been living by a system that would have enslaved you from birth? That is out of the bag. Everybody knows that now. What is amazing is that we need to stand up and claim that we are free. We're now a people that has arisen to the fact that we know your indoctrinations, we know your plans to destroy, to continue to destroy one's mind, one's capacity to live and to evolve. We know that now. But let us come to the Corporation of Guyana. Guyana is going through a phase that, and when I mean Guyana, I really mean the Corporation of the Corporate Republic of Guyana. It is still a colonized place because we live a Westminster system that has been controlled by the Organization of American States that have been run by Great Britain, America, Canada. We call them the ABCE countries. Their policies is what is guiding the corporations of Guyana. Fine, I might be independent, be interdependent because American state citizens here on the continent of America and not attached to no corporation at all. So I have free will to travel anywhere for the entire North, South, Central America. I can travel. There's no country that differentiated, there's no corporation. I have these different information that I walked with to say this is who am I. But it is also striking to know that it's a constant debrief you have to do every day. You have to talk to people, edify them, not educate, but edify them. And even till last night, I had some discourse with some friends, and that discourse would have been on a matter where edification and education is concerned. And I said, and he said, I keep you here talking about this edification process. I said to educate means to feed you a narrative and a deception. And when I have already finished feeding you it, when you eat it, digest it, it is time to regurgitate what you have digested. You have a diploma, degree, whatever, that's the certification process. That process is to award you to keep the regurgitation process, and you mustn't come off that level. But to edify means to awaken you or to help you to arise to the position of evolution and let you know that you can be interdependent. So you create your own space, you create your own governance, you self-rule, you self-taught. That is an edification process because you're not dependent on a system. Our ancestors would have taught us that it is not wise enough to you to depend on someone to live. You are controlling us because we don't know how to live. We tell them that. We tell them we don't know how to live, so we depend on them. So they give us food without helping us to see where this food is coming from. How is it being made? If is it grown? If it's processed? What is the process? of creating these foods, what kind of chemicals that are involved, is it good for me? The system is not going to give you that. But you know what you're planting because you plant what you eat, what you plant. The medication process again is so different that that in itself is a destruction to the human body, or no, sorry, to the living person, that living soul. So what happens now is that you're taking different things, different pills to say, well, you want to be healthy, and in that process, your body become diseased, and you die in that process because the medication that you're taking, it has so much side effects. We switching to medication and leaving the herbal factors, which is very much healthy for us. And then our education process is what demotes the energies that we have inside of us, that chemistry that we were being taught that doesn't know that it belongs to us. We supposed to eat the things that electrifies our body. You call them electrolytes. you know uh, Chemistry teaches us that it's electrons, neutrons, and all these things that we're supposed to be partaking in that can make us healthier at the end of the day, and solutrons. We need to comprehend the fact is that we are not living the truth, and the truth needs to prevail. The truth is the only way we can identify where our lineage are. The truth is the only way we can know that the land belongs to us. And when I keep saying about the land belongs to us, they keep saying, oh, Brother Matthews, you're talking. I got a brother who talks to me, he said, Brother Matthews-Bey, I know you keep talking about this land and this land and this land, but why don't you know, see it in such a way that we are kind of comfortable in which we're living? I said, well, how comfortable are you? I said, first, you in prison, you build a house, and the house has all these barricades to prevent people from coming in from the outside. But little do we know, we prevent ourselves from coming out from the inside because we are afraid of our own self, because the factor of the corporation, the life of a servant. Fear is the factor. The fact is which he lives by, he or she. So they would want you to be humble because there's too much fear. Well, I can't be humble because I don't. Persons who don't fear people, it is impossible for them to be humble. Because when you're fearless, there's no humbleness in that living person anymore. And I say living because that's how we live. That's the life we live. We are living persons, living souls. We're not human beings. And I'm going to come to that just now. So I was telling him, I said, then we concrete the yard in which we live by or we live on. There, then we're taking away from our own selves, utilizing the lands to sow seeds that can grow produce that we can consume. We're taking that away from ourselves. Now we have to depend on people to plant and feed us like babies. And these people now are telling you that they're going to poison their food to give to you. You're already eating the poison because the rice that is coming out from the planters or the farmers who are part of the corporation of Guyana, the how should I put it over? The ingredients that are used to grow the plant has been changed 260 times. It has been changed in its fertilizers. the fertilizer that is used to grow the rice in the Corporation of Guyana by citizens of the Corporation of Guyana has been changed over 260 times. And the volume of chemicals has increased. And why it's so dangerous now to consume the rice? You check it after cooking it. Let us say you cook it now about 6 o'clock in the morning. By the time 12 o'clock, it's no good. You can't eat it. Since it comes out of it that is heavily chemicalized. That is the chemical. They're spraying that fertilizer on the rice. It is destroying us when we consume it. So it's already poison. The same kind of fertilizer also too, this been spraying on the vegetation to enhance that growth, to move it from 3 weeks to 2 weeks to 1 week of growth. So you buy it and you put it down and you realize it start withering up as fast as possible. And those are the things that we're cooking to give our children. Because out of the food market, there is no credible substance enough for us to eat so that we can gain some health. We are always in a dissatisfied, diseased stage. So we're already eating the poison. We're already drinking it. So when they tell us about their poisoning, it is poison because at the end of the day, what are we eating? There's no good substance from it right now. The sugar, the flour. These three main items, the rice, sugar, flour, and milk. Those three main items are a destructive elements to the body right now. And I call it elements because in the manner in which it has been grown to feed us, it cannot make us well as living souls, as living persons. It cannot make us well. It cannot do anything to us. It's destroying us constantly by the day. And we get more disease or sick by what we consume. So that is a big problem. Person gets in the Facebook and they said, oh, well, you know, we can poison y'all out. And that's sad. It is a sad situation in the Corporation of Guyana for my Aboriginal brothers and sisters. It is a very sad state. Even to the manner in which I am trying to survive in the Corporation of Guyana. A whole lot of things have been meted out because I'm Aboriginal. I speak against the system. Some people are unsatisfied and dissatisfied. And then because I'm plain spoken and outspoken, they don't like it. So I become a threat to them. So what they do, they try to seek out by all means to making my life uncomfortable, discomfort. It's sad. Really is. It is a sad situation. It's a sad state. To know that we can do nothing. That's very, very sad. To know that we can do nothing. We're in a sad state. Look around us, my people. Look around us. What more else do you need to see? Your rights have been taken from you. When I mean your rights, your inalienable rights, the rights that you were born with, your de jure, the right to life, liberty, and property. It has been taken from you. And then you're being brainwashed to make sure that there's no resemblance of claim that you can do based upon your ancestral genealogy and traces to obtain wealth. And when I mean wealth, I mean knowledge. So you can't claim nothing. And during that brainwash system, when you already passed through that phase, now they indoctrinate you with the kind of foolishness that, they tell you. It's a hard task. It is. It's not an easy thing. It's a very hard task. That is why, as your local government official and candidate running in the Georgetown district, and when I say candidate and running, is that the mere fact is that I must need you to comprehend that I can hold those positions as an elected representative by my Aboriginal brothers and sisters to represent them. That is my position. You need to be more informed. You need to be told the truth. You need to work with what it is rightfully yours, right? You need to work with what is rightfully yours. And it's a sad state. It is a sad state. Just hold a minute for me, please. Yes, back to what I was saying. Yes, it's a very, very sad state of affairs. Very, very sad state of affairs. And then we need to comprehend that the magnitude of of how should I put it over? The magnitude of indoctrination, the stages that we pass through, and it is not presenting a good picture for us. You know, there's a lot of things that we can see that are not present for us. There's a lot of things that we can comprehend that is not working for us. And one of those things is that there's no respect for the Aboriginal brothers and sisters. People are trying to tell us around the world that we have no say in the day-to-day business. Well, since we have no say in the day-to-day business, let us not be a part of your corporation. Stay away from those things that are not healthy for us. You keep your corporation and honor the treaty that you have signed. And I'm going to help to liberate the minds of those who needed to be told the truth, who needed to be liberated also too.
That's the better thing. Liberation process is something that we need to constantly work to help us to liberate ourselves. It's a possibility. It could happen. It must happen. But are we willing to apply the task in the process of liberation? It's a must. Are we willing to apply that task in that process of liberation? It is something we need to do. We need to sit down and look and see where we are and analyze our standards of life and ask ourselves, who are we really? Are we servants of a system? Are we to be deemed only servants? This is what we are worth. We got to ask ourselves these questions. Are we only here to serve and to have people to tell us all kind of dumb, foolish things? Or are we here to let them know that we were here before you? The life you live is our culture that you have took, plagiarized it and bring it right back to us. That's what we need to. The amazing thing is that none, and I'm trying to wonder, none of these ethnic groups have their own culture. Nothing. When you check where they got their historical values from, it's always of that of the Aboriginal man. You check it. You look at the word. Look at the book that they call the Bible. It originated out of the continent of Kemet, which is now Africa, and the Europeans live by it. Who calls themselves European, but they're not European because this is our culture. We were the original European. We are the original European. You go to the Vatican, you see who they praise, they kiss the toes of the statue of St. Peter. When you look at him, he's melanated like me, darker than me. They worship him. And by worshiping him and doing all these things, then they enslave his offspring, his people, his kinsmen. That's what they do. It's the sad state of affairs. Everything you check and see the American culture that they live by is based upon us. It is our own historical values, our culture they live. And then to tell us that, well, this is the culture of the Homo sapiens. Oh no, that's not. They don't have a culture. It's animalist. That is their culture. Let's be straight. Look at their culture that they live by. That they claim to say, well, look, this is our culture. We are Homo sapiens. Check it. They're always at war with each other because they live a life of predator and prey. It's only animals like that. At least I'm not an animal. They call themselves man. They call themselves human. And they're trying to tell us that we are. Some of us sign certificates claiming that we're human beings, but they are not us. That is why they tell us in their constitution that we are two-thirds of a human being. But they're completely correct because if they are human, as they claim themselves, the most advanced intelligent animals, and then they're looking at us and say we're lower than them, then they'll say to themselves, well, look, you're not like me. I'm an original human being, and you're two-thirds. You're lower than me. That is why I say keep your human being status, keep your status of black, keep your status of African, keep your status of 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 of, of color. Keep all these status. I don't want it. I'm going back to my original status as a living soul. So don't call me a human being. I'm now de jour. I'm now a Lodia. I'm a living soul. I'm an Aboriginal indigenous American. Belong to no country. Belong to no colonial power. Belong to no corporate system. I'm totally free and interdependent. You keep what you have. I don't want it because I don't want you to tell me at the end of the day I'm your property because I hold the blueprint of you. No, you keep that. I am not your prey and you stay being the predator because if you check the laws in which we live by, it is the laws that uphold the status of the predator. And they prey on us when they're hungry. And whether we like it or not, that happens at the end of the day. And that's it. We got to take it because you are their property. You are their blueprint. They vaccinate you with their medication. They feed you with their food. You, oh my God. You become their genealogical creation, their property. They own you. They have prescriptive rights over you because you've given up that right. Walking around the place, oh, I'm a black man. Yeah, you are. God, the system told you that. You ever check it? We jump up and we scream out for Black Lives Matter. The system told you that because you cannot think outside of the box. They have you in the box. So all your life, all your thinking, all your uh, all your creation is within that box, within the corporation, the system, within their teaching that they would have taught you, within your education process. They would have controlled everything that you eat, sleep, or breathe. So you can't think outside of the box. The clothing that you wear is in the box. It's hard for you to see these things because of the levels of indoctrination. I know that. Sometimes it is even hard for some of us to digest. Wait, hold on. All my life, is this the destructive path that I'm living? You can imagine they're trying to restrain you because of a piece of paper with some ink and numbers on it. They're making your life uncomfortable. And then your brothers and sisters are doing the same thing too. Without money, you're constrained. You become a enemy to the system because you don't have a few dollars in your pocket. I mean, come on, seriously. You got to think. You got to think. You got to try to help yourself to make sense. It is not working. If you try, check yourself. It is not working. What are you profiting? What is the profit? Well, hold on. You got to ask yourself, what am I gaining? You want to drive a car? You want to have a fancy house? You want to have a big television screen? All these things that I'm talking to you about right now, bring discomfort to your life because all of those things would not give you a better life. And what is life? You think it's living wealthy, dying, and going to heaven, waiting there. Well, you got a lot more coming. Maybe you've never heard about the multiverse. I have been looking for this particular feeling, this particular action. I've been looking for where I am right now for years because I wanted to know, isn't there a place that I can go and get this process of edification done so I can enhance myself? Can't I get this done? Is it possible that I can get this done? And by reading and researching, and I studied it and realized, oh, I never heard about the Moors. The Moors? Who's these people? When I get to comprehend, it's a people that history has hidden from us, the Aboriginal people. And we learned their story. That's why they call it his story. They don't want to know about our culture, our ancestors. Anything about our culture and ancestors, it's about devil worshiping. I mean, come on, are you serious? We smoking drugs, devil worshiping. Well, if our ancestral teachings are devil worshiping, and you're going to church and you learn to be a Christian, and in Christianity, the indoctrination, well, here, I prefer my ancestral teaching because I know it. I'm seeing it. I'm going to church and being indoctrinated about a lie and continue to be indoctrinated than to tell me I'm a, what's the word? I'm a renewed and reborn Christian or reborn person or reborn Muslim or Hindu. Believe you, it's worse. The amount of things happening in itself, they keep on teaching you the indoctrination. That's a lie. That's devil worshiping. If we want to look at it as on an evil platform, because they're not being honest with you. They're hiding the truth from you so much that they don't want you to know the truth. So it's best you come on to me. O he that is heavily laden, then wants to know the truth, come. And then they accept you into the congregation and teach you the indoctrination. Because the thing that you're going to attend is man-made. The system is man-made. The church is man-made. Everything you do is man-made. And it's not the truth. That is the hurtful part. Fine, anything can be man-made, but you have to tell the truth. If you're going to tell me that smoking cigarettes is going to kill me at an early stage because of the chemicals it has inside, produce all these things, let me make that choice. It is better you come out and say, well, look, being a corporate citizen, doesn't matter which part of the world you are. Corporate means a citizen of a country. Being a corporate citizen is a slave, and as a slave, you're entitled to work, and you're entitled to earn your salt, which is salary, and you're entitled to be oppressed. Let the person who is now signing on to be a citizen of a corporation sign on to that so they know what they're signing on to. They know that they choose to become a slave. Don't sit down and tell me that slavery doesn't exist. It exists. It's just that they took away the whip and presented with a dollar. You check it. When you got money in your pocket, you're like a real slave. You do anything for it. Anything. That's the whip. Imagine we killing ourselves just to be beaten by the whip, which is a dollar. Anything we do for a dollar, we work 12, 15 hours a day. Lack of rest. Our brains can't function. We can't think. We can't depend upon ourselves. We can't make decisions because what? We're beat up. We're tired. We're overburdened. So many things are happening. Some of us, we're hungry physically, spiritually, and emotionally hungry. That's terrorism. Because when a system can do that for you and you're living in a bubble, a dream, and it's ready to burst, it's going to collapse at any particular time. Then when that is happening, you have wars and rumors of war. Tell me, what is so good about this system? Isn't it evil? You could imagine living in the corporation of Guyana between 2000 and 2010, and people were dying every single day for 10 years on the street in the corporation of Guyana. People were dying. People were beaten. They were, uh, they became a judicial camel because they're making an example out of them because of their ignorance. Every single day. Imagine that. Just imagine. And imagine the craziness that you're now going through. Imagine that, and no one answers for it. And it happened. They took your life away from you. They took away your inalienable rights. You were so much afraid in those times. Fast forward to now. And every day you're going to church and you're praying and you're asking the Heavenly Father to give you a miracle when the miracle is you. The miracle is you. Every single time you go to church, you kneel down and you're praying, you're asking for me. You're asking for deliverance, you go and pray. And whilst you're praying, they're murdering. And the church could only tell you come and pray. They didn't even representing you. They're asking you to look upon something that ain't gonna come because it depends upon you. Same scripture that says pray without works is dead. So why pray if you don't want to work towards your liberation? Why pray if you don't want to liberate your own self? You're asking people to do that. People who wants to enslave you even more. You're asking them to help you to become a more enslaved person. Because what are they going to do? I, from then to now, I haven't seen any person that who was brought out of that slavery. All that happened trust individual that enslaved my colleague, that enslaved my brothers, my uncles, my fathers, my nephews, took their lives. You asking me to trust them. Oh my gosh. Present day slavery is such a destruction. You're asking me to give these same people a chance that took your lives and still keep taking your lives away from you. Are you that serious? I mean, that is why our own take advantage of us. Because they turn around and say, look, watch four people doing hundreds of thousands of years. Look better take advantage of you, so because you ain't got no sense. I asked the same question yesterday when I was speaking to a couple individuals. I said, if somebody steals $10 million from you, you go and make a report to the police station, right? And then you'd want the police to arrest the individual and you want the police to prosecute the individual because they took your money, right? I said, no, the administration is taking hundreds of billions of dollars from you. Have you went to make a report? The person look into the heavens and try to see if the second coming of Christ is coming because they can't answer the question. Look how backward we are. 700 million billion dollars is greater than 10 million. And you're going to make a report for the 700 billion. You're going to make a report for the 10 million. How backward are we? I say that to say this, that if you fail to make a stand, how would you make a stand for what is left? Think of it. You have people who is discrediting you, discrediting your leaders, calling them out by a name. That is social terrorism. That is getting on the news media calling your own leaders dysfunctional, trying to use that the ethnicity that they're not worthy, and they're doing worse than the people that they're talking about. And you asking me to trust them. Think of it. Look at it. The poor fellow on the Buxton Market Square talked about civil disobedience. And then the entire private sector commission, the army, all these people want to discredit him. What's the word they use? I denounce his assertions and this and that. But when your de facto administration is taking away your land and your house, barefaced, send out the police to make sure that you've been arrested for preventing them from taking what is yours, rightfully yours. There's no condemnation. That's action. That's not talking. That is action. None of these, I don't know what to call it, but from the PPP, East Indian Utopia, none of them are condemning those actions. They never did. The PAC, the private, the private sector commission, the PSC, never come out and denounce what a fraud has done to my people, my Aboriginal, Indigenous brothers and sisters. None of them never came out and denounced. Not even the army chief of staff. That wasn't words. That was action. They were acting, and they didn't take three rat bambi. They were acting. They didn't care if you the vex or vex not. They were acting. That's how they operate. They don't care. They say to themselves, well, whether you like it or not, that's the fact. That's how it's got to happen. These are the facts. It's a sad state of affair. It is. That is why, for me now, I could only look to Aboriginal brothers and sisters, not only for guidance, but for the enhancement of spirit and nurturing, because we have the right theory, we have the right chemistry. We just have, as a matter of fact, I gotta stop using the word we, but you know, there is need for action to bring about the process of healing. We need a lot of healing. There's a lot of us who are mentally disturbed. There are a lot of us who create dissatisfied actions against each other. And I say to you that I would normally say to a lot of people, my fight is not with you. I'm not going to fight with you. I'm here to represent you. I'm here to fight for your cause against any other thing with any other ethnic grouping. I'm not here to fight with you. I don't want to fight with you. I would never participate.
Yes, my intention is to liberate my people, and liberation process is a must. We have to. That is the only way we can lay claim to what is rightfully ours. These Homo sapiens, or these Anglo Saxons, as they want to call themselves, these animals, it's hard to live with them. I don't want to live with them. I don't want to live in their, how should I put it over? They like to use the word refine. I don't want to live in their refined utopia. If we look at the etymology of the word refine, we realize that we won't want to use it. Refine means to take away the strength from consumable substance and give you the weakest version. That's a refinement. And they use the word and they think, and we think, oh, refined means to be purified. No, 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 no. If you comprehend the word refine, you want to use it. Because for you to know what the word was made for in that process, you want to be a refined individual. At least I don't want to. There's nothing humble about me. I'm a revolutionist. I revolt against anything That will make me uncomfortable. That's who I am. And I'm not going to sit down and play hopscotch or jacks just to make you feel comfortable. Oh no, what about me? That's why I've chosen this route. I've chosen the route to being a Moor. I've chosen the route to be part of the Moorish High Science Temple. I've chosen the route to receive not only the teachings but the readings of his of noble prophet Juali. I have chosen to comprehend what he has done for us who are Moors, putting the land in a trust so we can benefit from it, because the land cannot be bought nor sold. So we know our rights. And these are the facts. That is why the world economy has to constantly keep turning over, because there's no worth to their dollar. There's no strength, there's no worth, there's no collateral, there's no weight. They cannot present anything that can represent the dollar, because the land is not theirs. It was never theirs. It is always ours. And if you comprehend what our strategy and our principles, you'd realize that we don't live the kind of life that the corporations live. We don't buy nor sell anything. We're only there to create life as it is and to sustain life by the earth in which we live on. That is what it is all about. We kill each other over things that doesn't make sense. What if the electric grid decide to shut down? What if the AI, artificial intelligence, decide to shut down? What happens tomorrow? Everything becomes standstill. The car that you drive, the phone that you speak, the television that you watch, the computer that you use to do business, everything shuts down. All them satellites are floating out there in the sky will suddenly crash to earth because there's nothing that can keep it up there. So what are you telling me then? It becomes what? A brand new life. Because sustenance has gone. There's no sustenance anymore. I wish I could be here more and we can have a conversation. The time has come that we also need to part and go about